Hello everyone, welcome back. For those of you who are new, my name is Marianne. I live here in Canada with my husband and two kids, ages 5 and 6. And I make videos on simplifying motherhood through easy organization. And today's video is sort of a two-parter or like a little mini intro before I get into like the main topic. So first off, I wanted to provide kind of just like a little mini life update. Nothing too crazy. And then for the second part of the video, I'm going to talk about hand-me-downs, and I'm going to provide some tips on how to deal with those and how to make them work for you. So to kick things off, like I said, a little teeny tiny life update, but I just wanted to clarify because a lot of my earlier YouTube videos were when I was working full-time in an office environment and I was 40 hours out of the house. And since then, about a year ago, I've left that role and I started to organize full-time. So prior to that, I was sort of organizing on the side here and there on weekends and days off. And then I decided to make the big switch. I'm still working full-time hours, however, I am working for myself and I am organizing, and the big change there is that I have a little bit more flexibility with my hours. I am happy to do an entire video, like I could go on and on about, the transition from working full-time in an office for somebody else and then leaving that and kind of changing and shifting things around. I'm happy to share like how it's been and any challenges I've had, that kind of thing. But for today's video, I really just wanted to kind of clarify that and provide a bit of an update for anybody who is super confused, because I do share a lot of it on Instagram, but I know a lot of people kind of focus more on YouTube, which I love too. So with that out of the way, let's get into the big topic today, which is hand-me-downs. So I'm going to focus mainly on kids like clothing hand-me-downs, which I think is a huge thing for people. We see this with clients a lot. It can be super overwhelming. Also, I happen to just get huge, dropping a huge delivery of hand-me-downs from my sister-in-law, which is where we get 90% of our clothes for our daughter, who is 5. So I thought it was the perfect time to kind of go through that with you and show you sort of my steps and any tips I have to kind of go along with that. Tip number 1 is to sort right away. What I know happens with people time and time again is that you will get this huge boxes and boxes of items dropped off, and it will be months and months, and they won't get looked at and they won't get touched. And I get it. It can be super overwhelming. It's like kind of time consuming. It can give you a headache. And I get it, especially when when there's a lot of little stuff and there's a ton of it and it's just like too much for you to even manage. I totally get that. However, the longer it sits, the longer it kind of festers on your little silent to-do list. And also, if the clothes are just sitting there, there's a chance you might not even need them. Like if you already get a ton of gifts, if you already have love shopping and you cannot resist kids' clothes, then have at her. You manage that and don't even deal with the hand-me-downs. But if you are going to keep them and if you are going to let them in your house, then I would say a rule of thumb would be like a week, maybe 2 weeks. If in 2 weeks you haven't gone through them, do not hide them in the basement. Do not put them in the garage. Deal with them right away. And you will, trust me, you will thank yourself in the end. Tip number 2, do not feel bad about getting rid of stuff. So like I said, I get a ton of hand-me-downs, but right away I sort through and I'm making a pile of keep, I'm making a pile of donate to someone else or pass it on to another friend, and I'm making a pile sometimes of trash if it's something that's like too stained or like a pair of socks, for example, that I don't have anyone to give to, but I do not need another pair of kid socks and I do not feel bad about it. Remind yourself that the people who are giving you these items are just happy to have them out of their house. If they wanted money for them or if they were very sentimental to them, then they need to keep them or sell them. But if they are just dropping them at your door, they are just glad they're out of their house. That is just something off their to-do list. That chore is done for them and they will never even think about it again. And if you're really struggling about what to keep and what not to keep, the question I always ask myself is, would I buy this in a store today? So say I'm going out shopping and I am looking for a bunch of 6T t-shirts for Leo. Would I purchase, would I buy this one that has the shark on it? Probably not. If you're overwhelmed and you have too many and you need to narrow it down, be practical, be ruthless, and just make those hard decisions and you will thank yourself later. Okay, tip number 3 is create a designated spot to keep your hand-me-downs. What we do is we have 3 bins, one for each kid, so an Leo bin, an Annie Rose bin, and an outerwear bin. So especially here in Canada, outerwear is a pretty big thing. Any jackets, snow pants, boots, anything like that we get, we generally keep as long as it's in good condition, because that stuff actually saves a ton of time and a ton of money. I also separate it because in the outerwear bin, they share a lot of it. Anything that they will both wear, I put both of them in it, because it saves $1 trillion. I keep all 3 of those bins in our basement. That's where it works for us. That's the space we have. If you happen to have really big closets for your kids, and you could put those bins right in their closet, especially when they're super little and you're accessing, like if they're going in and out of things constantly, then having it in a more accessible spot would be even better. If you don't have that, use bags. You could separate it by different like reusable bags and put like different sizes on each one, like 3T, 4T, 5T, whatever stage you're at. But whatever you do, just have a specific area where everyone in the family knows that's where it goes, and it makes it super easy for everybody. Tip 4, create limits on how much you keep. So like I said, we have 3 bins, one for each kid, an outerwear bin, and we never exceed that. So I don't care if an entire truckload of clothes is dropped on my driveway tomorrow, I will not keep more than I can fit in that bin. I don't care if they're all brand new and they still have the tags on and they're the cutest things I've ever seen in my life, I will not keep them. A lot can fit in those totes, and I know in my mind that Annie Rose now says she's wearing a 5T. If I get something that's like a size 11, I'm probably not keeping it. It's probably not gonna be style in 6 years. I just know myself, and it will drive me crazy to hang on to that for so long. So again, wherever you decide to keep them, whatever bag you put them, however you sort it, create a limit on how much you can keep, because like I said, otherwise you will end up with 16 pairs of pink tights that are all in the same size, and you will make yourself crazy. Tip 5, rotate regularly. And what I mean by this is like actually use the clothes. So if every single season, like it's spring, it's about to be spring here in Canada, so I would say in the next like 4 to 6 weeks, I'm gonna open each of their bins, I'm gonna go through and count how many pairs of shorts I have, how many t-shirts I have, and I'm gonna pull them out and I'm actually going to wear them, or I'm actually gonna put them on the kids. If seasons pass, and seasons pass, and seasons pass, and these cute little totes that you made for the hand-me-downs are not even being opened, that means you probably don't need them. So I would suggest just passing them along and making sure they get used by somebody else. Okay guys, I'm pausing the tips here for a second because I want to actually share a few items that like I actually love and I find super, super helpful. So number 1, basically all dark like black or navy blue leggings or like super simple like pants, all of them. I keep all of them. They match with everything. They hide stains really well. They are easy to put on and off. If there's potty training, they can do it themselves when they're early, like in potty training years. They're perfect. They're comfy and I love them. They love them. All of these I keep. Even any really solid color, so like a red or a pink, I usually keep. Patterns sometimes I stay away from because they're super hard to match and drive me crazy. Holiday or like seasonal wear, I get quite a few, like, cause like I feel like grandmas buy like a trillion dresses and fancy outfits. I keep one like per season. So she currently has one upstairs that of course my mom bought, grandma's. That is like her Easter spring dress, and that she'll probably wear to like Easter. So she'll maybe wear it like maybe 2, maybe 3 times. And then this would be like her Christmas or winter dress. So she would wear that like maybe on Christmas Day if we have a dinner or something, or if you go to like a Christmas concert or something, this will be like her Christmas next year. So I keep one of those. I pick my favorite from the pile and I keep it. Zip up hoodies. I keep like anything that's like I think is kind of cute and that they'll like. If it's a zip up hoodie, I keep it for pretty much the entire month of September here in Ontario. I send the kids to school with a t-shirt and a zip up hoodie. It's like 30 degrees by 3 o'clock, but in the morning it's like 10 degrees. So these things I find really helpful. This one's like kind of cute. I like that. She loves purple. So practical and cute, and yeah, it's something that like I often hang on to. And the other type of like casual seasonal wear, so like basically any of these little like Christmas shirts or a like a Halloween shirt. I used to think like, oh my gosh, like these things are hideous, I'm not keeping these. But now that the kids are both in school, they often have like a black shirt day or orange shirt day. Like she'll probably wear this like every single week of October and November for Halloween, and she'll think it's amazing. So I usually do keep like one of those. I wouldn't keep more than one probably unless they were like my favorite season or something. But I normally do keep like one of these just to have on hand, like of each size. So rain boots, like I talked about outerwear, like pretty much I keep every pair of rain boots if they're like in good condition, because I find these, they like crack, will sometimes crack halfway through the season. So if I have space for them, I keep like every pair of those I get. Running shoes are like harder and harder to come by, but these ones are in like decent condition. They're perfect for just like kicking around outside. She'll think they're cool because they're frozen, and they'll be perfect just for like the backyard or like the beach or something like that, slip on. So definitely keeping those. And I got a couple of bathing suits. That's another big thing I get hand-me-down. I love this one, and she'll fit into it next year, maybe the end of this season. So I'm definitely keeping it. There's a couple of them. But with bathing suits, keep in mind the elastic often gets like shot. So like I've had hand-me-downs where, again, like I've kept them and thinking, oh, this will fit the kids in 2 years. And then when I go to put them on them, the elastic just has rotted sitting in the tote. So like, be like, again, if it's like gonna sit in their tote for 4 years, I would just pass those on to someone who could use them like this season or the next one. And then a couple of examples of things I pass along that like were kind of debatable. So this cute little robe, like a little house coat type of thing, it's frozen. She saw it, she absolutely loved it, it's amazing. But we just got a new robe for her. Like we were just given another robe for her that was pink, and she wears it to bed every single night. She's worn it for like 2 months or whenever she got it. And it's like pretty much the exact same size, and we don't need 2 robes. Like she really doesn't even need 1 robe. So this, although I think it's super cute and she would love it, we just don't need another one. I don't have space for another one, so I'm gonna pass that along. Another easy kind of like no for us is pajamas that are too hot. I know a lot of kids run different temperatures. Like some kids are freezing in bed and they need like 1,000 layers, and then other kids are sweating. So like these flannel little jammy pants that are super cozy, super soft. Like she would love the look of them because they have like unicorns or whatever. But I know she would sweat in these things and she would wake up in the middle of the night. So those ones, again, I think someone else will love them, and I'll pass those along. Tip number 6, last tip. Don't be scared to say no thank you. If you already have your little bins or you have your bags that you've already sorted, and you know you have, 6 pairs of jeans for your child for next season, and all of a sudden your friend rings you up and says, hey, I'm doing a big declutter, can I drop off a bunch of clothes to you? If you know you have absolutely 0 time in the next month to deal with that and you don't need them, just say no thanks. They have probably 10 other people on their list that they can call. I've had multiple people say to me no thank you when I've asked them if they want our hand-me-downs. I don't care. I'm glad that they say no thank you. I don't want them to be overwhelmed. I want these clothes to go to someone who has the time to manage them and actually wants them and has a use for them. Do not feel bad. If that person drops them off, they don't even call you, they don't ask, they just leave them on your front step, and you get home and you think, oh my goodness, I don't want to deal with this, put them directly into your trunk and drop them off at a friend's house or at a donation center and never think about it again. And like I said, these 2 tips, I'm really focused on kids' clothes because that's kind of what I'm dealing with myself right now. However, it can apply to anything. I get hand-me-downs for myself and I treat them in the exact same way. We get a ton of like toys. I have had people drop off like entire garbage bags full of toys, and I deal with them the exact same way. We get them out, we play with them for a couple days, and then I think, oh, these are like 2 great items here that we absolutely love, or this amazing puzzle that I know they will use 100 times. I keep that, and the rest of it I just pass along. Okay guys, those are my tips for today. I hope that helps. I hope it gives you some motivation and inspiration for dealing with hand-me-downs in your house. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below. If you have any requests for future videos, I am happy to do anything you like. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next time.